Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I could ever do it again. Being homeless, driving around in a shitty car, eating out of the dumpster. It's like all or nothing. I'd have to devote my whole life to it and forget I own a business and forget I have kids. I can't do that.
There's really good graffiti.
But that's what it was like for me at the time. I didn't think about doing anything except for playing music. I have no idea what that is, but it does not sound good. So... The first thing that made me look at a schematic was my broken DoD 250. That's pretty much all I've been doing ever since. When I first started doing it, Julie got so mad at me. Like, you're on another weird obsession. You're up until like 5 in the morning, making dumb noises, and I just kind of I got obsessive. I stuck with it. I don't think anyone could predict, however long it has been, 10 years later, or whatever, that it would be both of our livelihoods. It's kind of magic. This is Kindy Sue. It's the first apartment we lived in together in Akron, where I sold spoons and she booked bands. This is 218 Westwood, where we started EarthQuaker. I built pedals for friends here. I caught the carpet on fire. I blew up an amp with a pedal. I didn't know that you could do that. Sometimes the whole neighborhood smells like donuts. This is 467 Letchworth, and this is where we really started EarthQuaker. I designed the hoof, Grand Orbiter, Hummingbird, dirt transmitter. I made the dirt transmitter here.
Tone Reaper.
Dream Crusher. Julie named the Dream Crusher here while she was doing Texas. It's the first place I ever blew up a capacitor and it hit me in the eye. Sucked. We're in the backyard of our current house. We made the dispatch master here, rainbow machine, kit commander, organizer, hired our first employee, Jeff France, and our second employee, Justin Seeker. He used to sit next to me and eat vegetables that he pulled out of his pocket. We just kept hiring more and more people until we had 9 people working in our basement, which our daughters refer to as the basement people. We decided it was time to move out into a shop across town.
He nailed it. He's an actor.
Actor. We're in the back of 328 Bishop Street. First shop we moved into when we moved out of the basement. We started hiring people, started making pitch bay, palisade, afterneath. Even a day where we had to hire 8 people. We outgrew this space. This is where we work now.
We got it?
It's really cool. And it doesn't make any sense. And I'm like, no! And everybody...
Come on. Sorry, guys. Spilled the knobs again. Yeah, I spill knobs a lot here. One time I ruined a whole batch of disaster transport seniors. I got a trophy here. Got this drawer. Really precise ideas for pedal mods. There's my family. This is working out well. Whenever pedals break in interesting ways, we take note so that we can mod our own pedals to like remove the dry signal from our dispatch masters or make our afterbeats sound like they're exploding, that sort of stuff.
We have an amazing staff. They care as much and sometimes more than I do about the stuff that they're building. Making sure that it's the same over and over again, even though there's tons of room for human error.
When I was getting hired here and I looked around, I was like, oh my god, this is just a place full of nerdy dudes who build stuff all day. And I love it. It's so much fun. It's the best. And my cake intake is much higher than it was. Cake and nerds, talking about you.
We're all just musicians, kind of figuring out what we're doing as it goes along.
If I need to tour, guys will hold it down and come back, back into the fold.
We do everything by ear here, I mean, we're ear people. We try to, get our hands in there and really tinker and figure out why it sounds that way or how we can manipulate that. That's our thing.
Sometimes we get these repairs and I read the description and I tried to recreate it based on the things that he said and I couldn't get it to fail. So I'm just going to give him a new circuit board. But this will probably work fine for anybody. So we have a little dice rolling tournament that we do to see who gets it.
95.
Oh.
18.
Oh. Yeah. Watch that spider. Oh my god. Roll the dice.
This prototype I've been working on here, it's not quite done yet. There it is. Grand Orbiter. Woo.
We've been really fortunate to find people who take a lot of pride in their craftsmanship. And it all comes from being artists and they just kind of take on these projects as their own. And that's, I think, the only way that you can really successfully keep building guitar effect pedals by hand over and over again. If you put a little bit of your own personality into it.
Glad I trimmed my fingernails this morning. I love just sitting here and staring at really tiny things. I mean, they're about as close to microscopic as you can get to still work on them with your hands. This is a fun one. When you tell people that we do stuff by hand, this is we really do stuff by hand, even down to this.
I'm in charge of all the CNCing, all the machining, all the printing, the receiving. Basically, we just had to figure out everything on the fly, and we're still figuring things out as we go. It's fun.
so I'm trying to make this bean looking thing. I'm not sure what I'm doing, honestly. It was the depths, the first design I did. And then pretty much done all of them since then. It's pretty great that I get to do this. Hopefully I can do it for a long time. I actually went in my...
Oh, hey guys. Need anything? Okay.
Smells really good. It's a prototype of the interstellar orbiter. Yeah, I have all these prototypes, but for some I don't ever know what to do with them. I'm curious what these are.
I would say that everything starts with a curiosity or a need.
I do see envelope filter number 2 has been taken apart, which is a bummer. I thought that this was here. I thought it was a thing, but I took it apart.
I'm only making things that are either a problem I'm curious about or a need or want I have to solve. You know, like a couple years ago, all I really wanted was to play with different kinds of dirt pedals. So we had a year where I just made a bunch of dirt pedals.
This is a bass sub-octave pedal that I couldn't get the filter in it to stop feeding back at a certain point. So I just gave up on it. It's kind of a bummer. Let's see what it sounds like. The filter's not feeding back anymore. All you have to do is like put it in a cabinet for like 3 years. It'll come out a working pedal. There it is. That's why it didn't become a pedal.
That's kind of how I treat everything. I learn the basics of how to make it work and then see what happens. It keeps it interesting.
This is the one where it's sort of like, I think this is cool and I keep playing with it, but then I sort of wonder, like, does anybody, is this useful? Like, really, for anybody other than to do what I was just doing with it? Like, just... I don't know.
Who knows what I'll be interested in next? Fuzz faces. I hear fuzz faces are hot. People love fuzz faces.
It's probably too cold and doesn't work anymore. No, sounds good. I like all the shit that's happening, but like to me it's not intuitive still. I guess I like it to make sense. Like you wouldn't need to know what everything does. I probably did this like 3 or 4 months ago, which was just for me.
Whenever I have time to sit down at a breadboard and start working on stuff, I find it really just a lot of fun still.
I don't know what this is. Oh. The non-working version of the Dr. Z overdrive. Cool.
Place the tip of the deuce firmly in the nostril. Lift finger from top of funnel, thus allowing liquid to flow into the nose.
Ben Vehorn owns a studio in Akron, Ohio called Tangerine.
If you bend it just enough where the water doesn't slosh, you can get cool pitch bends.
And that's where we do all of our demo videos.
I've used this on like 5 records. Can you grab me 2 of the blue cables from in there?
There were certain spots in the woods where there was nothing, where it was just silence, and you're like, whoa, and then you start to hear it kind of creep back as you're walking in. It's definitely the strangest place I've ever worked. Like, hey, you want to go to work with 30 of your next closest friends? It's silly. Everyone really cares about what's going on, because that's like, most people say, oh, I just show up to work and whatever. If I have a shitty day, whatever, I have a shitty day. But it's like, if you have a bad day, like someone's pedal doesn't work, like that blows.
Yes, that's what we like.
Spot out of control in a good way.
This wonderful gentleman will definitely show you spiral out of control.
Yes, please. Got some good stuff going on today.
Very fondly remember arcades being everywhere. And I'd sit and play Russian Attack on Arc. And then eat like a soft pretzel and skate around. That's like me growing up.
Veg was our first employee. I hired him part-time, and even then I was a little bit skeptical if I could afford him. But right away he like kind of proved himself to be like the best thing.
This is Jamie's first record.
He knows everything about every pedal. Like if something comes in and it's broken, he can tell why right away. He is the second me.
Sorry, man. I can keep telling you stuff all day. Well, if somebody's pooping downstairs and you gotta go, you gotta go. Audio Pulse digital time delay system. The first digital delay for consumers.
I've known him since we were like 14 years old.
It was a melter. It like melted my brain. Like this stuff right here. Like, what am I doing? Oh, man.
So like he knew how I thought. We were pretty comfortable. We'd sit down and 14 hours later we would have built 50 of these circuit boards together and they would all be lined up perfectly.
I mean, the whole goal is for everything to be like what? Cute? Like cute little boxes filled with stuff that'll make very specific sounds.
I don't think that we could have done what we did in the time we did it without him. Just being obsessive about stuff together in the basement.
Or Doppler on that thing.
It's a typewriter.
Yeah, it's a typewriter. The Ekdal moisturizer. Right here, it's like that. This is my first pedal. The meatball. Should we look at these old-timey pedals? Oh man. These are the first 4 pedals that I put on eBay.
It's
and
awesome.
they never sold. This is the tone decoder. It was almost a pedal. I mean, I don't even know if these things work. we should actually see.
Oh yeah, right here.
I'm gonna open that. wonder if this works still. I bet it doesn't. Oh, it does. Oh, it doesn't.
What is that?
This was the blaster fuzz.
Did that become anything?
No?
It should.
It's cool. Cool. Good work. Back in the drawer. There's food up here. You gotta eat it.
And that is why I was not looking forward to the big parade on Main Street.
You guys know about the baby snow leopards at the zoo? If you were like a person
your nail. Oh.
Hey man, I'm just setting up.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm just drinking this beer.
Going to be colorful balloons and lots of good food. There were going to be baton twirlers and cheerleaders.
I don't think any of us could survive without playing music. You know, it's sort of like a thing we've all been doing ever since we were children. It's hard to stop. Since that day, like the first day I populated like a professionally produced circuit board, it's been like a weekly, daily, like slow climb to like the point that we're at now. Like it's kind of like no turning back. It grew so naturally and it got to where it is because I really like doing it. I'm surprised myself that I'm still excited about pedals. Involved in them 24 hours a day for like 10, 11 years.
Look, you today.